I could ask you to do something during the break, and you'll forget to do it, or I ask you to stick around for 5 seconds after the show to do something, and you'll forget to do it. But you remember a random butcher giving us jerseys,
a fake jersey
from 8 years ago.
He remembers freebies. He remembers freebies. If you give EB a gift card 20 years ago, he's going to remember.
No, EB is right. Somebody got some nubby jerseys a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't think that was 100%. From the butcher, though.
I think I got like an RG3 camo jersey.
Yeah, you did.
May have been from Pitesy.
You probably still have it.
He sends some nubbies, too.
Does Pitesy partake in fake jerseys? Yeah. He does.
The butcher legitimately was 6 years ago because...
nobody cares why.
I met him because my wedding ring wholesaler.
You need some pork chops?
The wedding ring wholesaler that
I got pork chops and a throwback.
That I bought my wife's wedding ring was next door, and then he brought me over to his boy, who was a big Junkies listener, and he handed me all these jerseys.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's been known on the show for that.
Listen.
Bunch of knockoffs.
You can tell a fake jersey takes 2 seconds.
Of course you can.
Usually the color's the maroon's a little off. You know what I mean?
Man, I wish I saw that.
Stitching is a little off.
Wish I saw that Deuce McAllister hanging in my closet, but I don't.
Anytime you have to deuce, you got to put on the deuce. It's the walk of shame.
Or
it's
a Deuce Staley. If somebody has a Deuce Staley lying around, they're not using it anymore.
Yeah.
That would suffice.
Right.
Anyway, Cakes, earlier in the week, you gave them a 0% chance of winning in New Orleans.
I'm going to bump it up to 5% because we put
money on it now.
Sizable amount of cash on it, which could move it up to 5%. But I don't think the Redskins have a very good shot at winning, obviously. I don't think they can stop the two-headed monster of Ingram and Kamara. And then if you do, then Drew Brees goes back to his old ways and probably scorches you for 250 to 300 through the air.
We've seen the defense leaking oil the last several weeks. They actually were run on rather effectively by Jerick McKinnon and Latavius Murray. So Kamara and Ingram, you got to believe, are going to go for like $150.
The only way
combined.
we win is a fluke, which, let's be honest, is what happened in Seattle. 16 penalties, 3 missed field goals, and 2 turnovers. That's the only way we win, a fluke.
I don't think Kamara and Ingram do what they did to Buffalo last week, which is nearly 300, but I could see them combining for at least 200 rushing yards against the Skins.
I'll definitely go over $150.
I think we'll score, even though they're like the 3rd best defense in terms of points allowed. They're only giving up like 18 points a game. They're good. But I still think Jay will come up with some sort of scheme, and they'll figure out a way, and we'll score maybe 24 points. Not going to be nearly enough. Not going to be nearly enough. It's going to be ugly, unfortunately. And if we're wrong, it's going to cost us $1,500. But I figure we might as well capitalize on it. We might as well start getting paid for these losses.
I tend to agree with you.
I mean, this is one of those you see from a mile away. Now, I saw the same thing with the Raiders, loser. I saw the same thing with the Seahawks, loser. But they're not gonna come through 3 times.
Is your Bovada account Felt City?
Dunsky.
Felt City, USA. He's the mayor.
Dunsky. Because you know what, you guys, I would normally not do such large bets, but you guys were like,
you got browbeaten into
You guys were saying I was a pussy or something.
That's why I made this bet.
We were Jerry Jones. You were Robert Kraft.
Yeah, and I'm not a wuss. I just like that bankroll management. But I said, all right, screw it. I'll bet the whole nut.
I mean, I don't mind betting on a lock, but I said all week I give the Redskins a 20% chance, which is not a great chance.
If you have a chance to get your money in with the 80%, I think at best the Skins have a 20% chance of winning this game. If you get your chance to get your money in at 80%, you're good.
You do it every single time.
But if we had a revolver, we said 80% chance that we
I'm not going to die if I lose the bet.
I was like, but would you roll the dice for $1 billion? Said he's got to play it once for $1 billion. Cakes actually raised his eyebrows.
You have an 80% sweat to win?
No,
yeah, I can't gamble with my life.
Because losing is death.
Yeah, it's gambling with my silly life.
Here losing is.
What if it was just a gunshot to your arm?
A non-fatal?
Yeah.
100%. Non-fatal? Yeah, 100% I do.
You know how bitter you'd
be?
For
$1 billion?
You know how bitter you would be, though, if I shot you in the arm?
I'd be salty, but I'd have $1 billion. I believe you. $1 billion.
I believe you would cry before I pulled the trigger. I believe you would cry.
You're probably right.
No way I would do it.
But I still have an 80% chance of
I would take a non-lethal
getting shot.
What are you doing with the $1 billion? Boom, I gave you $1 billion. I don't know. What are you going to do with it?
Stop getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Sleep in. First
Example 1 right there.
Get my life back. Start sleeping.
But again, I have an 80% sweat of.
Cakes do with the $1 billion. He's still
his
only hobby is playing poker.
You know what he would do? I actually think Cakes would move to LA or something. He'd move his in-laws with him. so then his wife could go. They would just go wherever he wants.
No,
He
I
kind of
don't-
grimaced
I don't
right
know if
there.
I would do that.
He'd probably do part-time. He'd probably buy one. He'd
Here's
buy
what I would do.
Coastal.
Before I do anything else, before I quit waking up at 4:15, I move off my busy ass street.
Yeah.
That's what I know
Well,
that.
I know, but I'm saying
I'm going to move somewhere where
He's so imaginative.
I'm not gonna have-
He'll move across. You know where those silly houses are before you take the turn on Cashel?
Yeah,
the ones
they're-
across the street.
No, they're okay, but there's too much traffic going through there too. I'm going somewhere where I'm going to have a big ass gate and nobody's going to be able to get even close to where I live.
You mean all those
Besides for
friends that you hang out
I
with?
want to be
They won't
even
able
more.
to get in.
I want to be more isolated than I already am. That's what I would do with $1 billion.
Cakes is the opposite of, I think there was a story about the key to happiness isn't money. It's about connections and friendships and things like that.
That's a flawed study. I don't need any connections. Are you kidding me?
there's very few connections.
I just need an internet connection. That's all I need.